Thursday. What day was the first day? Sunday?
Shoot. Was it Sunday?
So
I will gladly pay
that was the
you
day
Tuesday
of the that
for
was the
a
day of the
hamburger
party,
today.
right? So the party was on Wednesday. Distracting him was Tuesday. So the freak out argument bad was Monday. So we arrived here on Sunday.
Oh, the Flynn argument, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think the river was on Monday.
Yeah.
This week's gone fast. We're not getting a lot done. Just hanging out.
That's how it usually goes.
Hanging out with Stoner Boy. Are you sure you don't want to come down? Carl lays spread out on his bed, game controller clutched in both of the paws that are thrown over his head against the pillow. He offers me a glance, but returns back to his game. This time it's a new-looking open-world fantasy, and honestly, I'd much rather be watching him play it than doing homework. Is this the timeline where Chase doesn't get any work done on his project because he's hanging out with a stoner friend?
It's like the you lose timeline. Because in reality, the actual point of this game is to get your project done.
Yeah.
I just don't want to distract you, man. And you know how much help I am.
We're gonna get you a makeover. I frown. Well, it'd be more for the company than anything. Don't you want to look through the stuff too? Carl screws up his muzzle as if contemplating. Do you have a hangover, or do you have a gay over from yesterday and don't want to admit what happened?
I've seen most of it, dude. I wrapped up half the stuff in there.
Well, alright. I pause, but he doesn't say anything. It's clear he's not interested, so I have no reason to nag him. Still, it sort of hurts my feelings. No. As I make my way into the basement alone, I realize another reason why I would have appreciated Carl's company.
Because fucking scary.
This house is creepy as fuck. I've always been a bit of a pussy when it comes to scary things. I mean, once, after I'd seen a scary movie about possession, I'd been afraid to go to sleep for weeks, mainly because my neighbors can seem... Oh.
Nightmare. I read that the same way because you said neighbors. I looked down and I just
I'm like, mainly because my neighbors can seem so real. And
I was like,
hang on a minute.
Like, why is Keith pausing? I look down and I'm like, neighbors seem so real. I'm like, what's wrong with this? And I'm like, oh,
because that's a baffling sentence. Mainly because my nightmares can seem so real.
Nightmares and neighbors can be the same.
Yeah, all neighbors are nightmares. It took almost a month for me to manage it without the lights on, and I was 18 at the time. Oh no! Chase posted cringe.
The Exorcist? What are you watching, dude?
Watch something.
There's not really a lot of...
Probably a really bad movie considering it was when he was 18.
Well, I mean, he could watch an old movie even though he's 18.
Maybe.
But I mean,
statistically, it's something new, so he probably watched something shitty.
There's not very good exorcism movies.
Connect the cuts. Some bullshit, like, reviewed by Red Letter Media, fucking possession movie that everyone forgot immediately.
The Possession? Or whatever.
The Possession.
Isn't that one of them? I don't know, I laughed at one of those and made people upset.
Oh, the one that came out last year?
That was by the same guy. It's like James Wan or whatever. You just keep
laughing at this guy's horror movies? He's the guy that did he's the guy that did some of the Fast and the Furious movies. He started doing horror at some point.
It's trash.
So you watched the weird backwards person movie and you were laughing and I've heard that, which, like, from what I've heard,
Malignant was so funny, guys.
A lot of people are convinced that movie's funny on purpose. So if you're the one laughing and everyone else is awkward, they might be the ones not getting it.
I feel bad. I hope so. But I was like, I could not.
You were like ruining it for everyone.
Ruining it.
Because everyone's like, oh my god, this horror movie. And you just couldn't deal with it.
They were so excited to watch it. And they were like, it's good because it's by, I think his name's James Wan. And I was like, oh, that guy makes terrible movies. And like, I don't mean to be a film elitist, but I'm a film elitist. Like, I can't, it's one of those things. It's on accident. I don't even mean to do it. But no, it was so funny, and no one else thought it was funny. I laughed for like 20 minutes straight, and I couldn't stop myself, and I felt so bad because everyone else was completely silent. And I was like, man, why are you guys not laughing? There's parkour in this movie, and the guy's wearing a trench coat and running with his face on backwards, and he's running doing parkour. Yeah. It's the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Meanwhile, like in other movies, yeah, like the person who's like laughing at the thing when you're trying to enjoy it is the asshole. Like you've been through that with certain people, but maybe you were right.
Maybe I was the asshole.
I don't know. It's just I just got a kick out of this line because it reads like a YouTuber joke. Like when someone's like, "Oh yeah, my mommy used to always tuck me in and kiss me goodnight." It's like, "Oh yeah, when's the last time that happened?" Last week. Like it's like that kind of joke. So like the ending being that he was 18, I'm like, "Oh, okay." How old are you again? Like 26? Like 24? He's in college now. That's not long ago.
I think
he was younger than that in the last game.
The last movie I thought was scary was Hereditary, but only like in a certain way. But I think the things that I think of when I'm walking, like, not here because the bathroom's right across from the room, but there are people whose houses are built where their bedroom is like down the hallway from the bathroom, and there's no light between that. So
you get the PT hallway.
The amount of thoughts like the kind of thoughts I think of are way scarier than anything anyone can come up with. Like I got them. Yeah, I got it down. You guys can't scare me.
My brain, whenever I go to the garage to get something from the fridge, and I have to turn on the light in the pitch black garage in the middle of the night, I'm always imagining something that will be there when the light turns on. I always have things that are in my brain that it could be.
Dude, just some person standing in the corner, man. Oh yeah, let's do it.
Do they just run at you? Like Duke, which everyone forgot about somehow for like almost.
Why is no one talking about that?
We just let Duke drop as a concept for like the last like 16 hours at least. That was yesterday morning. That's been 24 hours. That was cake for breakfast for some reason. I didn't like that. I don't like
cake for breakfast. I
don't like cake in general, but that's a bad time for cake. Anyway, and now I mentally kick myself remembering that movie while I'm down in Carl's creepy basement alone. Dummy. Once I get to the crawl space, I do an awkward half run to the flood lamp that would probably make Carl laugh his ass off. It's the thing you just talked about. Oh, it's the darkness.
I'm telling you, man.
Run for the light. The crawl space really is fucking creepy. Not the music I expected.
This is just very chill music.
I'm like,
for
what is
crawl
this?
Space.
What is this fucking say it ain't so?
This is my chosen crawl space music. My crawl space playlist on Spotify.
It's a waterfall that takes me further every day, and it's cool. It sounds like the say it ain't so at first glance. I'm like, that's not already.
Somebody's honey down in my icebox. I always thought it's funny they call it a hiney.
Yeah. I imagine Carl sleepwalking down here, which I'm pretty sure is what happened last night.
Sure, wink.
Then waking up alone in the dark. I can understand why he was so freaked out. Someone should lock this door if this is a thing that happens. The sight of the plastic tarp at the bottom of the steps brings back memories of the tarantula as well. Yeah, we just established there's a plastic tarp on the floor and they never moved it at all, huh? I feel like there might be bad news under this tarp that comes up. The digging sound?
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
What's up, Carl?
For some reason I thought the boxes were on the tarp, but maybe not.
I think they just established there was a tarp on the floor and then they walked across the crawl space to the boxes. I'm concerned about the floor
tarp,
now.
The presence of the tarp.
Shit. Now I have good reason to not go down there at all. I still don't know if what I saw was real or if it was some kind of hypnagogic hallucination that my mind always seems so keen to throw at me. I scanned the tarp. More like the trap. It's white and clean surface, free of any insects as far as I can tell. It's white?
Who gets a white tarp? I'm just gonna throw that out there. It's very strange.
I shudder again before making my way slowly down the steps, eyes still darting around. Come on, you idiot, this is ridiculous. When I was younger, I used to have a problem where I'd wake up in the middle of the night and see spiders crawling up the walls. I still do that now. I love it. I hate it. I hate it.
But they're real, and then
no.
I'll come take them. I keep them in my room.
Once a month, I just have a jump out of bed moment where something's really real for 1 second until it's not. And then I'm like, well, that was fucking stupid.
Just dream about Stephanie coming in and saving you from the spiders and making friends with it.
Yeah, that's how dreaming works. You just choose things.
For some people, it's that one type of dreaming that I can't do.
Lucid dreaming?
Yeah.
If I start lucid dreaming, I wake up because what happens is I'll sometimes notice a plot hole in my dream and then wake up immediately.
Of course you would notice a plot
Like I would just
hole.
notice something didn't make sense and then I'd just be awake. I'm like, God damn it. I'd scream and one of my parents would come running in to tell me nothing was there. My dad talked to his psychologist friend who told him it was normal, so we didn't do anything about it. Anyway, it became not normal. Over time, the hallucinations stopped, except for the ones I talked about that do happen too. They didn't come back until I took the night shift near my university's campus. After that, I started to get sleep paralysis, and about half the time, spiders were involved. This is a thing, if you get sleep paralysis, you also hallucinate. They're like tied to each other. It's just a whole ass thing.
I had that happen twice.
Nope.
And it was very scary. I didn't hallucinate anything. I just like kept thinking about what I was gonna do and how nobody would know that I needed help and how I just got really scared thinking about that.
I don't like this at all.
I can't even talk. How am I gonna tell them? How am I gonna tell them I need help? Like, what's wrong with me? Like, what if my body never works again?
I didn't realize how it would work necessarily. Griff talks about it, and like he like got bored at a party where people were just hanging out, like a bunch of friends were hanging out playing video games basically, and he got bored. And then he got sleep paralysis on the couch. So he's just stuck in the middle of a boring party, just stuck on the couch, frozen for like a while. It's just like I've never thought about it occurring outside of like the morning, basically.
I had it happen while I was in school.
You had sleep paralysis at school?
Because I half fell asleep on my desk, but like didn't really go into sleep and didn't really go out of sleep.
Weird.
And it was after doing like a test, and I laid my head on the desk. I was tired, and then when I opened my eyes, everyone was leaving, and I couldn't get up, and I got really fucking scared. And then the other time I was just in bed, but like, did
somebody like wake you up, or did you just eventually come out of it?
I just eventually came out of it. I don't know what happened. It just happened, but I just was like. I was like, I can't get up. I can't get up. Teacher, I can't get up. Help me. Help me.
Was the teacher still there? Did they leave?
Well, no, I mean, everyone was like in the middle of getting up. So it wasn't like, it wasn't obvious yet. But I feel like if I'd stayed for like a minute longer, the teacher would be like, are you sleeping, honey? Or something. But like my eyes were wide open.
I was going to say, like, somebody's got to notice at some point, right? It'd be really weird if the teacher left too. And like, oh, just leave them here. It was like a minute and a half. It was like one of those, like... It wasn't immensely long, but it definitely would have been long enough to draw attention if it was like taking more than 10 than that. My feet crunched their way across the tarp, back towards the tubs that I know are marked history. I really thought they took the stuff out, but I guess they just all put it back. Or remember they weren't sure why they were put back? Yeah. Because they did take the stuff out, because I remember Chase putting them... They weren't sure why the tubs were back, but I thought Chase would have taken the stuff with him upstairs, but I guess he didn't even do that. Chase put the stuff he wanted at the bottom of the stairs. And I don't remember if we ever followed up on that ever again. He didn't. Just the bins were moved back. Yeah. I stare at them for a second, remembering that 2 days ago the tubs had been turned to have their sides facing the entrance to the crawl space. I clearly remember seeing them that way, over Carl's shoulder, right before I saw the tarantula. Well, you're such a reliable narrator then, with the tarantula. Like, mid-sentence, he's like, also I hallucinated, but, you know... Perfect memory. I definitely remember how it was. Now they're turned so that their ends are pointing to the front. I frown, but the prickling feeling on my neck doesn't feel good, especially with me being alone down here. So I shoved that to the back of my mind and grabbed the end of the bottom tub so I can start dragging it back towards the stairs. Sitting down and taking the lids off, I start sifting through the contents. Again, something isn't right. There are a few empty wrappers lying around among the artifacts, as if someone had unwrapped a few trinkets before taking them. I wonder if Carl decided to take a few things? God knows why he would. I remember those wrappers. I removed those wrappers, 3 in all, and set them to the side before digging further in. This particular tub has a divider in it. As I start unwrapping things, I realize that one side is for the harder artifacts, like keys or knitting needles. The other is mostly paper items, like photos and documents. On the paper side, I see a thick folder labeled Biography of James Hendricks. My eyes widen. Now that would come in handy. Is this a book, or... As I open it, I find a bunch of loose papers inside. While it's clearly copy paper, it's old enough in its own right. I move back down to the tarp so I can start spreading the documents out, not wanting to lose anything. I'm breathing heavily at this point, hardly believing my luck. He got distracted. There are hundreds of pages, and I hardly know where to start. After a while, I begin to deduce what this is. Someone's been trying to write a book on James Hendricks. From what I can tell, it was Carl's mother, Tricia. Some of the documents were typed out on a typewriter, so this might have been started as far back as the 80s. Getting married, having kids, and running a company probably slowed things down just a little bit. I grin. While it's too bad this might never see publication, Carl's mom has no idea how much she saved my ass. Because now I'm just gonna fucking... shit. I forgot the word plagiarize. There we go. I was gonna say procrastinate, which he did, but that's not the right word.
Yoink, now, this is mine now.
Yep, I'm just gonna plagiarize this random lady's work. She'll never know. On top of that, she's got it all organized. One divider indicates James Hendricks, while another marks Emma Hendricks, who I assume is James's wife. A few of them are filled with several names. Marilyn Smith, John B. Gay, Yanaha B. Gay, and Christopher Leeway. He's bi. Finally, the last section of the binder is filled with dividers indicating dates. All those numbers.
Yeah, I was gonna say what a...
I started with that, my fingers shaking a bit with excitement as I start poring over Tricia's meticulous timeline, using my phone to take notes.
The music stopped.
He's doing this
it changed.
Why would he not just take it upstairs? He doesn't... Don't you not like it here?
Don't sit here in the dark with your flashlight.
I'm gonna chronicle this whole book with my phone in the dark. James was born in 1825 to an immigrant family from Ayr. His family faced oppressive prejudice from the day they arrived in the country. Despite this, they managed to make a living with James's father becoming a plumber, a profession that mainly dealt with lead. Great. Well, bad news about how that story ends.
At least he's good at laying pipe.
His father, Martin, was abusive, even more so than was acceptable for the time, and James suffered greatly for it. The mysterious death of his 5-year-old sister, Martha, led many of the townspeople to suspect murder on the father's part, but actually it was the lead. But this was never proven.
Yeah, they're just licking pipes.
James left home at the age of 15. He told his remaining sibling, Jane, that if he were able, he'd find a place for both of them to stay to escape their father. Not much is known about James Hendricks between 1840 and 1849, with Tricia assuming that he simply job-hopped around the tri-state area. What is known is that James set out west in 1850 during the gold rush. Luck struck quick, with James finding gold in a quartz deposit in 1852. The first person James confided in about the find was his only friend, John B. Gay. John was a native desert fox, and would go on to become James's business partner. Oh, didn't we recognize that he looks like Jenna?
Yeah, no, Jenna's last name is Bigay.
Yeah.
Jenna Bigay, too.
Jenna Bigay.
Making my dreams come true.
This comes as a bit of a surprise due to John's many recorded instances of prejudice against the natives. With John's help, James officially laid claim to the mine before turning it into a business. While Echo was originally a small camp of less than 20 people, it became a mini boomtown. Over 2,000 people arrived within the next 3 years. Things went well for James after that. He became rich, built a mansion in Echo, and lived off the mine's seemingly endless flow of gold. He sent Jane, who was married with a large family at that point, a yearly sum of money. Meanwhile, no money was sent to his parents, who were living in deep poverty. He married Emma, a girl half his age, at 1860. Shocking.
Ain't that just the way?
How old was he when you say half his age?
I don't remember I don't know what his age was. I forgot to pay attention to that.
They had 5 children: James, Thomas, Genevieve, Carol, and Martha. I'm just saying I'm hoping he was at least 40. Things changed for James in 1875, though, when he was accused of sodomy with John B. Gay. John do be gay. The land being lawless at the time, John B. Gay was hanged by the locals. Oh. James was never convicted of the crime, likely because of his strong influence in the town. This seems...
Well,
wow. This is some cartoonishly asymmetrical
in this situation,
justice here.
James sodomized John B. Gay, so you can't even argue that, like... Because, you know, James could be like, oh no, I was sodomized by the bad man, John B. Gay. But we can't even argue that, because it wasn't even as if, like, he, you know, I'm assuming this was consensual, obviously, but you can't even argue that you were sodomized. You sodomized someone else, so you don't have an excuse for that.
This is a multiple layer freaking hate crime thing going on, except it wasn't a crime for them, the part where the execution happened. But, like, one, being executed for a stupid thing that's no reason to be even treated as a crime, but also, like, obvious fucking racism element, where one of them gets killed and the other one just, like, so anyway, like, just goes on with his life, apparently.
Well, it seems more like a money thing than I mean, it could be a race thing, but I feel like it's more of a money thing. One person has influence.
Well, he's a native.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about the native part.
Yep. There's a lot bad happening. James was never convicted of the crime, likely because of his strong influence in town. However, the ostracism grew to be too much, and in 1878, he left his family to live in solitude in the West Coast. He quietly started a moderately successful ice cream business in the 1880s. It didn't grow into the regional juggernaut it is today until it was taken over by his grandson, Peter. He died there in his villa in 1891 from an unusual insect bite. The insect that's in here right now! I rubbed my eyes and checked the time. 3 hours have passed already, and it's late in the afternoon. Apparently Carl's game is so good he hasn't even bothered to come down and check on me.
What a jerk.
I sigh and gather up a few of his items. A pocket watch, what looks like a nugget of gold, and what I think is a stamp with a crest on it.
I don't know if you're allowed to just take that nugget of gold. That might actually be worth something.
It's historic, which is why I'm imperializing it. It's gonna go in a museum. I'll need to take the pictures outside, considering how dim it is down here. I lay the items down on the adobe sidewalk that leads up to Carl's house. Deciding that it'll make a suitable background, I start taking pictures. Hours after the discovery of the binder, I'm still relieved. I was really starting to worry with how little time I had left, but Trisha's research has saved me hours of time. In fact, she's pretty much laid everything out for me. I'm not earning this at all. Any of them.
I'm a cheater.
I'm just gonna get a grade for free. I nearly jump out of my skin and spin around, still clutching my camera. That's an interesting detail. The reaction is to a sound that isn't in the script. At least not yet. Behind me I can see the window still rattling from the force of whatever had knocked on it. That's interesting. It's not mentioned. It just happens to us. They usually even call out sounds, even if they're also happening. It's a basement window. In a window well. Well, still gotta check into that. Yeah. But I guess it is a basement window. A window well is, I guess, just when there's like a cavity for the window, I guess.
That does make sense. I am gonna look that up, though.
Though I can't see anything through it. It's too dark. Seems a lot like you're recreating your nightmare right now, Chase. I stare for a while, frowning. What the fuck was Carl doing? Did he go back downstairs and somehow see me through the window and decide to scare me?
So, sorry, I'm going to show Keith the picture of a window well. It's a little bit more elaborate than I had thought. It's literally a hole that you dig. So you have a window that's half above ground, half underground, but you dig a hole around the part of it that's underground.
That's so weird. Yeah, it looks like... I don't know. There's just like a ramp going down to it's like a full-size window sticking out of the but like it's underground. So there's just like a ramp going down to the bottom of the full-size window.
A window well is a semicircular excavation that surrounds a basement window. It is typically constructed from solid barrier made from corrugated, galvanized metal, masonry, plastic, or pressure-treated wood. Window wells are usually installed for the following purposes: emergency egress.
So it's an emergency escape, and also like it lets light in. I guess
that makes sense, because I was thinking to myself,
it looks like a scary fucking like just a slide some kid falls in and then it breaks your window.
I guess it makes sense because if you were in the basement, hypothetically, right, and you had those really thin, narrow windows like what I had pictured, you wouldn't be able to climb out.
Yes, there's only one escape.
In fact, I actually just recently saw a horror movie. I watched The Black Phone, and that was the whole point, is a kid was locked in a basement, he couldn't reach the window. But in this situation, it's more for safety, because if you needed to open the window, you would have a window that was A, large enough to climb out of, and B, you wouldn't have dirt immensely pushing up against the window to where you couldn't fucking open the window anyway. You have a dig out around the window so you can get out of the window if you needed to.
It's odd enough that like in all of the stuff, I feel like out of everything I've ever seen, I've never like seen a window well like in a movie or something. Like I looked at that and I was like, what am I looking at? I was genuinely confused.
See, like I said, we're not from like we're from Central California, but there's nothing around us that has this at all. No,
you can't.
I've never seen these.
The ground's too hard here. Nobody has an under house thing.
Yeah, my aunt lives in Idaho, and she has like she has a basement that's almost equivalent to her upstairs space. She basically has another house downstairs. It's very strange.
Yeah. I slowly gather the artifacts back up and place them in my bag, keeping an eye on the window as I do. If you wanted to pull that shit, then I could play at that game too. The only problem is that Carl isn't in the basement. From what I can gather, it was the window next to the crawl space that it was hit. Looking out, I can see the spot where I must have been standing. The chills return, and I shiver as I move back to the crawl space. It had to have been Carl, though I don't get why he wouldn't have stayed down here until I came back. I gather everything back up and start to place them back into the tub in the same order I'd taken them out. And that's when I notice something. At the very bottom of the tub, a plastic baggie has been opened with its contents spilled out. I set down the binder, which I had been about to put away and reach in, sifting through the spilled papers. They're newspaper clippings of the town of Peyton. They're incredibly old, and I can't imagine this is the best way to preserve them. Either way, the fashion in which they've carelessly spread out across the bottom of the tub makes me wince. I don't remember leaving it this way, and it makes me feel sick that I could have damaged any of it. Slowly, I push all of the clippings back into the baggie, making sure to seal it tight after I do. From what I can see, nothing's been visibly damaged. I sigh before putting everything back in the tub and shutting the lid, making sure it's sealed tight. It's a shame that it's been so difficult for Carl's family to set up a museum. From the looks of it, some of the stuff isn't going to last much longer without preservation. Finally, I drag the tubs back and subconsciously take note of exactly how I left them before heading back upstairs. When I get upstairs, though, Carl's asleep. His controller is still above his head, clutched in his paws, as if he'd fallen asleep the moment I'd left. On the screen, his character is immobile, standing in the middle of some hut. A single NPC stands in front of him, walking back and forth. Told me the jet would give me the jitters. Every now and then it stops in front of him, exclaiming, "What are you doing in my hut?"
That's very angry, man.
"I see you, Khajiit." "Nice day we're having." Could have sworn someone was here. Fucking the fucking reactive dialogue in this game is so fucking stupid, because it's just the need to announce every thought that the stupid AI has just to show you how not nonsensical it is so much sometimes. I reach out and place a paw on his shoulder, and immediately opens his eyes, snorting loudly. He sits up and rubs at his face, snorting again as he breathes deeply. "Did you go downstairs?"
Huh? What happened?
It's almost funny how utterly confused he looks. If he's acting, he's doing a damn good job of it. "I heard some noise downstairs. I thought it was you."
No, I don't think so.
Things were moved around, too. He takes in a deep breath before blowing it out.
"I told you, man. This place is haunted. I wasn't joking."
We both look at each other for a moment. Finally, Carl breaks the awkward silence.
"So how'd it go? Aside from the ghosts.
It went alright. Just 3 hours and a bunch of research. He looks at me blearily.
Shit, seriously? I was gonna come down after a while, I just...
Fell asleep, yeah. Anyway, we were supposed to go out today.
Really?
Yeah, remember? You said so a few days ago. Carl looks around.
Well, what do you want to do?
Oh yeah, because I talked about how it'd be nice to go out and do things. I think. Don't you have an interview tomorrow?
Don't remind me.
Carl picks up his controller again and I frown. Well, I was thinking we could go out and maybe give you a new look.
Hoo-hoo.
Now Carl frowns, clicking away at the controller.
Like what?
Well, your clothes for one. Do you have any dress clothes? You don't? Seriously? Have you ever had an interview before?
Well, yeah, it's just that I've, grown out of them.
I was gonna say, like, your parents are rich. They've definitely made you wear dress clothes at some point
formal events,
to, like, a wedding or something. So, like, there has to be something wrong with them, because they definitely have some.
What if only has, like, a tuxedo? You can't wear a tuxedo to an interview, you'd look like a weirdo.
Uh-huh. Well, we'll definitely need to get you some of those. I look at his beard thoughtfully. Maybe we should give you a more clean-cut look? Carl doesn't say anything and instead goes on frowning. I put a paw down on his controller, forcing him to pause. Come on, it could be fun. You can't stay in this house, in this room, forever. He finally does look at me then, his expression kinda sad. What's wrong? Carl looks away, then stands up slowly, his joints popping.
Nothing. If it makes you happy, then why not?
Great!
Just so you know, I'd rather just play some video games with you.
It's tempting. Just watching Carl play is a lot of fun. What with his style and commentary.
See, he should be a YouTuber, like he talked about.
But this is more important. I really want to help him out. Maybe later tonight. Let's get this done first.
We saw him quip jokes. He probably could definitely quip.
This is our one
jokes.
road.
Yeah.
So
it's a good
apparently
one.
your great-great-great-great-grandfather was accused of sodomy.
What?
Carl looks up from his phone, his muzzle wrinkling. Yep, with John B. Gay, who I'm almost positive is related to Jenna, but I'll have to ask her.
Are you serious? How'd you find that out?
He pauses.
And maybe don't ask Jenna about that.
From what I can tell, your mom's trying to write a book.
It's funny, it's like when my dad, like one of my dad's expressions, because he has a bunch of like middle-aged white dude expressions, but like one of them is like if you ask him too many questions, he goes, "What, are you writing a book?"
Yeah.
It's like one of his things.
It's
But
like,
in this case, she is writing a book.
How did you know? Who told you? Carl strokes his beard.
Oh yeah, she is, isn't she? Well, was more like. I don't think she's worked on it in years.
From the looks of it, she started it in college.
Damn. Well, I do remember her saying it stressed her out a lot, or that something happened to make her stop.
Oh. Because it was haunted.
She found some scary
The history's haunted.
stuff.
Let the past die. Kill it if you have to.
Accidentally finds a bunch of racism and goes, close the book on that.
Carl seems to be thinking.
Actually, I think I remember her talking to my dad about how those old things freaked her out or something.
He shrugs.
But we've always said the house is haunted.
Carl's phone starts buzzing.
And speaking of Jenna, she's calling me.
Carl looks a bit perturbed, but he puts on a cheerful voice as he answers it.
Yo, whale ears.
Ah, that old name. As he listens to her response, I see his smile slowly slides off his face. I can hear the sharp, muffled tones of Jenna's voice, even though he's holding the phone on the other side of his face.
I don't...
I guess she cuts him off because he doesn't finish. I glare. Here, let me talk to her. The way Jenna acted yesterday, which isn't like her at all, is giving me a pretty good idea of what she's going off on about right now. Carl doesn't give me the phone, though, instead just staring out the windshield as we continue on the highway. Finally, he lowers the phone from his ear, then stares at the screen for a while. She hang up?
Yeah. Said something about how Leo's depressed now, and how us hanging out by ourselves isn't helping things.
Oh.
I do feel bad.
Yeah.
We really ditched. We genuinely ditched everyone. We're being both of us are being assholes right now. Because, like I said,
although Leo specifically, that's a Chase problem.
That is a Chase problem. But like I said, even though Jenna was being a brat, and even though Flynn's being a dick always, Flynn's just always a dick. So I guess there's no excuse for that.
Yeah.
But like, we should have definitely just at least tried to integrate again. For the sake of everyone. The
fact that we just went off on our own for half of the week, basically, is just, I'm like, what choices are you making right now? What are you doing? Poor Leo. I roll my eyes. You know what? Fuck Jenna. She's been on one of, she's been
on one.
She's been on one since Leo's day didn't go the way he wanted it to. For some reason, she just wants to blame you.
Yeah.
Carl looks out his window, so I can't really gauge the mood he's in. Listen, let's get something to eat first. I'll buy.
No, my parents are rich. I'll pay.
I can't exactly argue with that, so I don't.
I wouldn't.
I also don't feel like I can leave it at that, so hesitantly I reach out with a paw and place it on Carl's shoulder. Seriously, let's have fun today, okay? Forget Jenna. He looks over at me and gives me a sad smile.
I'm fine, Chase. I just want to get this over with so we can go back and play some games.
I sigh. Is that all you think about these days?
Hey, lots of people play games for a living. Who could he be talking about, Keith?
Not even just me, not even the fact that I'm here, but the fact that the context of this, like, we're making the video right now.
Yeah. Little do you know, Carl.
Name one.
It's gotten very meta all of a sudden. Rob Lowe.
What?
He's joking. He's joking.
Yeah, I'm like, what? That's a sport.
Still a game. I didn't even know Rob Lowe plays sports.
I just recognize the name, but it brings me nothing. I have no idea who Rob Lowe is.
Rob Lowe is just a very handsome actor guy.
Is he?
Yes. Now I'm guessing it.
Because you also don't remember who it is.
Well, no, I'm pretty sure that's Rob Lowe. Rob Lowe is a hunk.
I grin as I hear that jokey playfulness back in his voice. Glad I'm able to take his mind off Jenna for the moment. Well, at least that keeps them active. Playing games all day will get you unhealthy.
I'm right. Rob Lowe is the guy I'm thinking of, and he is a hunk. It's this guy.
Oh, it's the guy with the eyes.
Beautiful, beautiful eyes.
His eyes stand out a lot. They're like piercing or something.
I did really like him on Parks and Rec, because his character was very funny to me. But yeah, he was in The Outsiders, St. Elmo's Fire. See, I remember from all like the 80s movies.
Yeah.
But Bat, if you didn't notice, I'm already there.
You're not that bad. I swear you're mostly muscle.
Then I guess I've got nothing to worry about.
How did he end up being mostly muscle with what he does?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, his lifestyle supports the idea he would not be mostly muscle.
Yeah, when is he exercising exactly? But you should get out more.
Why? I've got entire worlds in my game.
I don't know. What about girls?
Yeah, what about girls? They're in games too. And they have much bigger titties than the ones I see in real life.
You can't exactly touch a boob with your actual paws in a game.
Wait for VR to come out.
Yet.
We'll get there,
Haptic
guys.
feedback.
I don't know. I swear they've got those in anime land.
You know what I mean.
Already done it. Not that great.
You a queer or something? I say it with a southern accent.
You a queer or something?
You a queer or something? You
got a pretty mouth, boy. Let's just say I don't label my sexuality.
2-foot dick. I let that sit for a second. That's a pretty queer thing to say.
Guess I'm a pretty queer dude then.
Is that so?
sides. Until I'm able to see my hooves again, I don't think any girl's gonna be after me.
Well, that's what we're doing right now. Trying to give you a new look, a fresh start. It'll boost your confidence and your appeal. You'll have girls and boys after you. Again, Carl doesn't act very enthused about that. I tell myself it's only because he has to go out. Once we get there, I'm sure he'll cheer up.
It's because he wants you after him, Chase. Just you and you alone.
Are those socks?
It's fucking Hot
what is the
Topic.
store? I was gonna say it looks like Spencer's.
It does look like Spencer's.
I swear, every store in the Peyton Mall is dark and covered in neon.
Yeah, it's Spencer's.
Yeah. Carl stands there awkwardly, looking around as if unsure what to do. You don't dress somebody up for a job interview at Spencer's.
Yeah, what? Yeah, this is the wrong store, guys.
That's where you get. That's where you go to get a novelty rainbow dildo and Pokemon cards for some reason.
That's where I get my septum rings at, and maybe some fun socks and some dumb shot glasses and
it's a weird
Rick
store,
and Morty
right?
backpacks and like
they sell
a place to put a thing to put weed in, and then like an ashtray.
They sell mugs that look like a cup noodle thing, but also they sell a lot of anime shirts. And then strap-ons. And you're like, I don't understand.
They're not cool enough to sell actual strap-ons.
No.
Okay, they only see like Spencer's.
There's a lot of like light back of the store stuff going on where you're like, not what I expected from how the store started.
So Spencer's used to be a little bit cooler because the back end had all those really trippy posters that were like 3D and neon, so that way when you were high you could look at them. But now it's like it's literally just sex toys, but they're not even actually good sex toys. They're like ones that like you can't actually use, or it'll be like
dangerous novelty toys.
Yeah, like things that vibrate but like not very well, or like or like a lollipop that's shaped like a dick, or like greeting cards that are lewd on because it's so funny, haha.
Tiki.
Like it's like all trash junk stuff. Like it's not where you should buy sex toys. People go to a real place. Like you're wasting your money.
Carl stands there awkwardly, looking around as if unsure what to do. So, what kind of look do you want to go for? Carl looks at me like I'm crazy.
Seriously, dude? I have no idea. You brought me here.
Just work with this for the next hour, and I promise we can go to the game store next.
GameStop? Ooh. EB Games? Huh? Was it EB Games still back then? Electronic Boutique? Guess what GameStop used to be called?
Well, no, GameStop was everywhere, but also it consumed everything.
Oh, it did?
In my town, it was Funkoland, was the one that got consumed by GameStop. But there also were GameStops. But yeah, there's EB Games.
EB Games was so much cooler, GameStop.
There was like 4 or 5 different video game chains that all got turned into GameStop.
Bummer.
Carl makes a big show of sighing, but I assume the twitch in his ears indicates that he'd like that a lot.
Well, it's just dress clothes, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal.
Carl's getting all insecure the way he did during the surprise birthday party. It's kind of cute. Who?
Carl, Chase, ambiguous voice.
The voice comes from behind me, and Carl smiles over my shoulder before I turn around. Raven? What? There's an emo wolf person.
Oh my god.
We're just throwing this in. What the fuck do you sound like?
Is this?
The black and white two-toned husky is just a few feet behind me, grinning. Just suddenly new character. Okay. This is what his hair looks like? Like, on its own? Or did he dye it? Does he dip his head in dye? Like...
I'm just imagining, like, the husky we live with, like, Birch just, like, brushing his hair frontwards as far as it goes. It wouldn't even go that far, but I'm trying to imagine.
Wow.
What
would he sound like? I don't even... Alright, how long has it been?
Too long, man. What are you doing here?
Family moved back here after my dad got fired. Now I work here. I could ask the same about you, Chase. Oh, just on spring break right now. You work in a clothing store now? Raven laughs. No, I'm a store down. I work at Game Central. Carl perks up
But he
at
looks
that.
like he works at the frickin' Hot Topic or whatever.
Yeah. He's wearing a vest.
Wow. What a useless, like, it's not even cold in here, dude.
So, you're in school, huh? You're still in school, huh? Well, it's great to see you. Raven's accent is only slightly detectable now. The only noticeable foreign thing about him being his name. What accent? What was... Raven gives me no clues. What accent would he have?
Because, I mean, I think Raven's not
Is he
even...
Siberian?
Perhaps. Ravens live here in the US. Like, what accent is this?
So what are you guys doing here? Getting clothes? Yeah, for Carl, actually. He has an interview tomorrow. For some reason, Carl ducks his head at that, and through his ears, I can see him blush deeply. Oh, really? It's about time.
Oh, no. I mean, I have had a job before.
So what kind of look you going for? When Carl doesn't answer, I speak up. That's what we're trying to figure out just now, actually. He has multiple poses. He's not like he's not like the carnival barker. He's a character. This is a person we get used to now. I was not expecting that to happen.
What if he shows up in every route?
Yeah.
You always end up at the Spencers for some reason.
I was just noticing that, like, it was like at Astro where we had like almost exactly like 6 characters again. And I'm like, I guess this is just the crew. This is what they do. I wasn't expecting new people to show up. Carl shrinks further into himself, his hat seeming to fall further over his eyes.
Getting embarrassed. Dude, it's just dress clothes, really.
Well, I think you should get a red tie at least. Might go good with your eyes. And maybe trim that beard.
Just dress like Billy Joel from in the American Idiot days of Green Day, and just wear the button-up black shirt with that is short sleeve and with the red tie.
He's dressing him like Shaun.
Shaun.
Of the Dead. First name Shaun, last name of the Dead.
Well, I mean, that's kind of cool. I mean, that's professional. I'm just thinking the black and red, like, emo look, like, that was very punk with the wristbands and stuff.
When
and
I was 14.
Since when are you a fashionista?
Come on, Carl, at least try it out. Carl sighs, rubbing his forehead.
Okay, fine. But only as long as we're out of here in the next hour.
Hey, I gotta get back to work, but I'll be free in about an hour. Let's catch up. He's got, like, shadow sockets for eyes. There's, like, a distinct look.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I mean, huskies have their, like, eyes indented into their face like that.
I wave at Raven, then turn to Carl. Well, that was nice. Didn't think I'd ever see him again.
Me neither, actually. I'll have to hang out with him more. I mean, I like Flynn, but having to put up with him just to get a ride to the store isn't always worth it.
Having to put up with him isn't always worth it.
Burn,
oh, what
man.
a type of person. Meanwhile, whenever that guy acts differently, you're just like, that's so Raven.
That's so Raven.
Well, anyway, if you're wanting to get out of here in an hour, we should probably get started. The process is a lot less painful than Carl makes it out to be. Soon enough, we're on our way to the food court, Carl carrying a bag way too big for the contents inside. We meet Raven again, and once we get our food, he suggests we eat outside. Well,
very scenic.
I guess next episode we'll get to meet Raven.
That's
God, it looks like every mall.
That looks like
but
every
no one's
mall I've
here?
seen. That's so Raven. This looks like a mall to me.
Why is nobody here? That's weird, right?
Because I'm surprised this town even has a mall.
Also, did they take this picture out of... They took this picture out of the driver's seat of their car, because you can see the mirror. It's just really goofy. Alright, see ya.
Adios.